Good morning, everybody. It's Deni here from Masterteaching, and today, once again, I am in the kitchen. The reason I'm in the kitchen is not because I'm going to give you a cooking demonstration. I'm useless. So, what am I here for? Well, the main reason is because the light's been very odd lately, and also because I'm feeling a bit better and I'm up and about. So now that I'm up and about and off the couch a little bit, so we will see what's happening, and I've got a few things to say today. So the main thing that's in the news here in New Zealand, and I guess that this could be happening in other countries as well, but our main thing that's in the news at the moment is how overwhelmed our health system is. And I have to say that at the same time that we have an overwhelmed health system, we also have an overwhelmed education system. Have you noticed that during COVID, we have had a lot of information and news about the difficult situation that they have in hospitals, and that is 100% true, and I fully endorse, back up, reiterate everything that everyone has said. We need to completely support our doctors, nurses, and anyone else involved in looking after people during any kind of COVID response time or any kind of epidemic. I have to say also that schools have been very hit by this, and probably much more so than the average person really understands. Parents understand because they have and from their own point of view, as everybody does. But parents understand because they have a situation where they're having to monitor their children, make sure that they don't get sick, etc., etc. We know all that. And we're learning to live with COVID, and it hasn't been easy. I got locked down in my house for the whole of COVID, just like everybody else. I loved it. Most people don't, but I liked it because I like to be at home. And I don't get the chance that often. So anyway, so that's part of it. But the news is all about the health system being overwhelmed, etc. It's also about the fact that we haven't projected well enough forward in terms of training staff. So what we have is effectively staff who are coming out of the training that they're doing in health and are not really coping in a practical sense. So we have that in teaching, and I know I've discussed it in other videos, but here it is again. And what's actually happening out of that is that this is how can I put it? This is one of those things where we really have to think through far in advance who we're going to get, what they're going to look like as teachers, how are they going to cope on their first day, and what that's all going to feel like. We need to do the same thing with doctors. And you don't want to have to put somebody under a lot of stress in their first year in the job as a qualified person. It's a huge amount of stress. They're trying to do the job as well as they can, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. Now, since we're in the middle of this discussion, could we also bring into this the fact that actually there are a lot of management issues in schools? I'm going to talk about schools because I don't know enough about hospitals to say anything much, but there are a lot of management issues in schools, and it would seem to me that now is not the time to assert yourself in school. As a manager, this is a good time to be supportive. As a manager, you need to ask very carefully and very clearly what you can do to help people, and also to be really kind in the way that you speak to people and the way that you deal with people. And there are an awful lot of people out there who are just not kind. I think it comes down to their own insecurity. And I think that's the bottom line for that. It comes down to their own insecurity about how well they're going to do the job. Now, what does that in itself tell you? That tells you that there's someone else who's in that position who is actually pressuring them. There is a theory, and I don't particularly adhere to it, but there is a bit of a theory out there that, teachers are bossy. Well, yeah, right. Teachers are controlling, yes. But having said that, we don't all go into teaching because for those reasons. And the other thing is that managers in teaching don't know anything else. Some people don't understand anything except confrontational management, and that's an issue for everybody. And you don't have to be overtly confrontational. You can be passively confrontational, and that is what evolves into a kind of toxicity that comes about, and it's really relevant and really apparent in schools. So it filters down. So whatever's there is coming from the top. Also really important to understand that there's a lot of training out there around this kind of thing, how to have difficult conversations with people. The very wonderful and incredible Vivienne Robinson, I think. And, honestly, there are so many people out there who've come up with great theories. We're not putting them into action. And the reason is basic insecurities and personal agendas get in the way. Agenda equals ego. We've got to work together. We have to work collaboratively. We have to work in a kind way. We need to work as a team. You need to check your facts before you go in with both feet, which is something that I've experienced recently. The stupidity of it is incredible. People have got to understand that people are not perfect all the time. And don't expect them to be, because actually you're not either. So if you're in a management position, think about that. I've had to do that. I used to be a controlling manager. I used to be a manager who actually thought that all I had to do was isolate myself and that would be enough, and that then my word would be law. It isn't and shouldn't be. Also, managers do have a lot of top-down stress from other managers or further up managers, and that impacts on them a lot as well. So it's a stressful, lonely job, and there's no doubt about that. There is no doubt whatsoever. So usually when I'm in schools or I'm working in a place where I have another manager, I make an effort to let them know that I understand what it is that they're going through. Sometimes that can come off as being a bit smarmy, which is, part of the deal, really. I just don't worry about it because I have an agenda, and my agenda is to improve education for everybody, no matter where you are, and to understand that education comes from a relational trust basis and that we need to give everybody more agency. So there you go. So back to the situation with teachers and doctors. Well, it takes nearly as long, in some cases as long, to train as a teacher as it does to become a doctor. If you consider, I've said this before, I have 3 degrees, and if I've done 3 degrees, then I think that that is probably the equivalent of what a doctor has done. I have on top of that done 45 years of practical teaching and managing. And a lot of my time in the last 20 years has been in management, but not just in schools. I've managed all kinds of funny things, including 2 car yards. So actually, I think that it's really important to understand that teaching isn't everything, and people get experience in other ways. So I think that that's my lot for today. I'm sure I'm going to have more to say about it. Please leave a comment, please subscribe, and have a great day. I need to clean the kitchen. I can see there are a few spots on the walls. Okay, see you later. Bye.